Welcome to Helping You Thrive with Banterra Bank, a podcast that offers inspiration and information to help individuals, businesses, and communities to thrive. I'm Jennifer Spence, Director of Marketing for Banterra Bank, one of your co-hosts.
And I'm Ben Kraft, Commercial Officer at Banterra Bank and also a co-host. You know, banks today use technology in different ways to offer customers convenient banking. Banterra is no exception, putting technology and staying ahead of the curve as a top priority. This episode is going to explain the digital conveniences that Banterra offers, plus maybe a hint of how it will continue to play a larger role in the future of banking.
That's right, and we picked the perfect person at Banterra to discuss this. Meghan Densch, Banterra's Director of Digital Banking Operations, is here to speak to us. Meghan, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
So Meghan, before we dive into questions about digital banking and other technology conveniences, we're definitely going to get really into that, excited about it. We need to learn a little bit about you and your story. So can you tell us about yourself, where you're from, your career journey with Banterra, and so on?
Yeah, I live in Norris City, Illinois, so about an hour east of here. I started with Banterra. This is my 25th year.
Wow.
So I started...
You started when you're 12?
I did start when I was in high school. So I started the summer before my senior year, and then I worked part-time my senior year, and I worked part-time when I went to college, and then eventually went full-time. I've been a branch manager.
Where were you a branch manager?
At the Kroger branch in Marion.
I'm learning some.
Hey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I then went to treasury management. I did sales for several years, then oversee treasury management. And now I also have our digital banking operations team, our virtual banking operations team. So the app, online account opening, chats, and I also have our customer care team.
That's pretty. See, I've already learned something. That's pretty. I mean, I've known you. I've been at Banterra since 2012, but I didn't know that you've been here 25 years. That's awesome.
Yeah. Congrats on the 25 years. And I'm, we've definitely worked together through that time and your treasury management days, and of course now in digital banking. So glad you're here to talk about today's subject.
Yeah. So today banks use technology in so many different ways, and customers, we're all used to ordering on Amazon and all those kind of things. So we expect convenience in every aspect, including banking. So I know today we want to cover online banking, which is on our website, but also the mobile app and iPad apps for the mobile banking standpoint. I want you to be able to get into that. Online account opening, which we just launched a great new platform for that. Treasury management services, even our ATMs have a technology component to it. So, and I know there's a sort of a personal aspect, products, and then also business. So, I'll just let you sort of dive in on one of those.
Well, we can start with, we do have two different platforms, one for our consumer customers, which we have an app, we have a desktop version. They can use that on their iPad. It offers, they can see their account activity, they can pay bills, they can send P2P payments, which similar to
Person to person is what that stands for.
Person to person.
Like Venmo or Zelle.
Yes, very similar to that. So we offer those things. There's a lot of card features on there. Mm-hmm. So if you need to change your PIN number, sometimes I forget my PIN number. That happened to me at the ATM the other day. But I knew I could change it in my app. So you can go on your app, change your PIN number. You can turn your card off. If you lose your card on the weekend, can't find it, I'm going to turn it off until I find it or can replace it.
I can't even hardly remember the days where I used to write checks and pay bills and mail those. Yeah. And I mean, bill pay alone is, to me, and especially just the reoccurring, so you don't even have to think about it. But I like just the automatic transfers too. So if you want to save, you don't have to think about it. You just set it up and, don't have to convince yourself to move that over to savings. It just happens.
Yeah, maybe automatic transfer, say when you get a paycheck into your main checking account every month and you want to transfer some into savings, you can set that up to happen automatically. In addition to setting up automatic transfers for your bills or bill pay, right? So there's a lot of different functionality and bells and whistles that our mobile app and online banking service offers, right?
Yes, for sure. Another popular feature is mobile deposit. So another reason where you may have to have went to the branch before, you can now just take a picture of that check and deposit it through your app.
Yeah,
So-
I have to say, just sort of not to dog my mom because I love you so much, but she loves to write me. I mean, if she owes me $5, she's going to write me a check. And I'm like, please, just like, you don't have to. No, write me a check, mobile check deposit. I work at the bank, but that's great.
Yeah, you take a picture of the check. So I guess for our listeners that may not know, how does that process work when someone makes a mobile deposit? They take a picture of the check and it just goes off into who knows where, right?
Not who knows where, but it does go through a secure network. So it is secure. It's encrypted, but it does send the check to our back office. And it has a lot of checks in place. So, if something maybe is hard to read, or it can be flagged, maybe some item on the check didn't read, then it'll prompt someone in our back office to review that item, and then they can post it to the account.
So there's a real person reviewing it, much like you would if you deposit a check in a branch. You're having someone on the front counter looking things over. There's someone looking at the mobile deposit check and then reviewing it and posting it eventually.
Yes.
It's super easy. It's so nice to have. So they have, and I need to be using this, but they have budgeting tools too. So if you really want to,
Yes.
you want to talk about that at all? Or
There is a personal finance management tool behind our app. So, you can put in your bills, kind of manage that, helps you provide that tracking.
shows you a
your
pie
budget.
chart of where things are going.
It
I've
does
seen
have
that.
the charts,
I'm like,
yes.
I don't know if I want to see that.
Yeah.
Look how much I ate out.
Yeah.
Why is shopping a bigger piece of the pie than I want it to be? No,
Yeah.
no, I really enjoy the budgeting tools. It's got the net worth calculation in there. You can track over time how your savings has changed, or your checking account balances, loan balances have changed. You can link, I think, other accounts to that, right? So you can kind of keep a snapshot picture and an over time understanding of how your finances are doing, right?
Yes. Yes.
And if you lose your debit card, you might have already mentioned this, but you can turn it off.
Yes.
Until you find it, then you can turn it back on, those kind of things. So for those out there, I mean, there's a generational deal where there's maybe a senior market that is like, I am not using online banking. I don't trust it. I need to write a check and want to see the cash and all that jazz. And then you see a younger generation that they only pay digitally. They hardly ever go to an ATM to get cash. They're definitely doing the digital thing. Can you speak to like the security of online banking and maybe why that would be, it's a good option to consider?
Yes, and digital banking is very secure. It's password protected. We do have a multi-factor authentication too, which, generally prompts you to get a text with a code to enter that in. To enable a cookie, you can save that, then you don't have to do it each time. With our app, you can also do a face recognition, which that's what I like,
me
because
too.
then I don't have to remember that password and type it in on my phone when I'm trying to look at my balance or make my loan payment. So I use that. There's a PIN number feature, but it is all encrypted and secure.
Yeah, and sometimes mail-in checks is less secure these days.
Oh, yes, for sure, because you're sending your check number, your routing number, all of your information on that check through the mail versus just a...
digitally.
So you mentioned debit cards before, having the ability to turn your debit card on or off. And we also have a tool where you can set alerts, right, for your debit card. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes, you can set alerts to your debit card. I have my alert set. Anytime I use my debit card, I get a text. So, if I get lunch, I get a text.
Yeah.
If anytime I make a purchase, sometimes I think I'm getting too many texts. So
Yeah.
I know it's time to pump the brakes. But yes,
Well, that's
and that's
good to know,
definitely
right? If your card is used unauthorized and you get a text message, you don't know what that is. That's a quick heads up instantly on some potential fraudulent activity.
And I might be wrong, but can't you set it on dollar amount too or something?
Yeah, you
Like if
can set it for dollar amount. If you want it to be over a certain threshold,
Yeah.
you can set that too. And I will tell a little story that I had that where my card got hacked, and I got text, and I got a text and it said my card had been used, was $14. It wasn't a large amount. And then about 5 minutes later, I got another text. So I went in my app, I turned it off, You know, that I
sometimes
really
it's-
limited the fraud that hit my account.
Yeah, sometimes it's not good to have a dollar amount then, isn't it? Because
Yeah.
$14 probably wouldn't have been
Right.
like your warning platform to set. So that's interesting.
Well, you mentioned, I want to talk about this too. We have our consumer product, which has all the features you just mentioned. Can you talk a little bit about the business online banking product that we have, cash management?
Yes. So we do have a business product. It has some additional features, which customers can elect what features they want to have. So they don't necessarily have to have them all, but we do offer ACH. So that they want to do direct deposit or accounts payables or accounts receivables, they can do that through our business online banking platform. We also offer wires. So normally, before, when you would go into a branch to send a wire, you can do that from the comfort of your office. We launched a new platform earlier this year, so they actually have mobile deposit now as well through the app. So just a lot of good features for the businesses. Also, Positive Pay. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with that, but it's a fraud detection tool. So
Explain that to listeners. They're clueless on it.
yeah. So the customer can upload a check register, and then as those checks clear the bank, it matches the items. So if anything is different, if the check number comes in different, if the dollar amount, it alerts the customer as an exception, and then they can decision it. So sometimes it's, oh, I entered something in wrong, but other times it's truly
key.
a fraudulent item that they've caught.
Which is
So-
great to have because business owners are so busy just running their business. Never mind.
Yes, so
triple
they're
checking.
getting alerted daily if there's
Yeah.
any exceptions.
So I'm going to throw things off a little bit because I wanted to ask a question about personal and I forgot it, but it came back to me. So sorry, guys. But we talked about digital banking. How do you get digital banking? What products at the bank allow you to have online banking?
So really, if you have any account at the bank, if you have a checking account, a savings account, you can be a loan-only customer. You can still have
Really?
digital banking. Yes, we have a lot of
Just a CD? Just a money market? Doesn't
anything,
matter?
any
There's a loan?
account at Banterra, you can get digital
Free.
banking free, no fee.
That's pretty awesome.
Yep, and you can just go to the Apple Store or Google Play. You can download the app, or you can go to our website and get to the desktop version.
Right. And I know they have a version for mobile and iPad too. So
Yes.
Yeah, it is mobile friendly. Not like some sites you go to and it's clearly built for a
jacked up.
desktop computer, but not working on your phone. It's very mobile friendly for an iPad or a phone or whatever device you have.
So sorry, back on business.
That's okay. Oh, well, and you mentioned Positive Pay, and that's just another fraud prevention feature that we have. Everything is super secure with that. And are there any other fraud prevention features that we have that you can speak on with, say, business banking?
We also offer Positive Pay for ACH.
Okay.
So that allows them to set, certain businesses, if a certain business debits their account, they can mark them as allowed. So if someone tries to debit their account that is not on that preferred list, then it's going to alert them, if they can allow that transaction or not.
Treasury management services. Positive Pay is part of treasury management, or Positive Pay is just a service you can have outside of it?
It is a service that you can add to our treasury management, but there's no cost for it.
Okay.
Because we really want to promote our customers, to be as diligent
Yeah.
and, prevent as much
So
fraud.
let's take a little deeper dive on, because I know there's so many components, or I feel like there are when I think of our website content of treasury management.
Yes.
And there's a fee involved. Just
Yes.
sort of speak to that and what those things are.
So we do relationship pricing.
That's right.
So kind of based on the customer, their relationship with Banterra, their deposits, their loan relationship, we look at the full picture, and then we make the decision on. So then sometimes concessions are made, depending on that relationship of where they can get a
Is it
discount.
based on the amount of activity they would have too?
That
Like if it's
does-
small business versus a huge company, or no?
That does play a factor
Okay.
because we're looking at their activity, we're looking at their balances, we're looking at their loan balance.
Okay.
So it's just kind of like overall, what it's costing us to service that account.
Okay. So those elements under treasury management, cash management.
Cash management, we offer remote deposit. So that is a desktop scanner. So with a program on your computer that you can make deposits, comes to the bank. Similar.
Super easy.
Yes,
like a mobile
super
check deposit
easy.
kind of, but
Right.
different.
You're not having to take
Businesses-
pictures. You can
Yeah, for
scan it
businesses that
in.
are getting a lot of checks,
Yeah,
they
yeah.
can just
They never have to
instead
come
of
to the
going
bank.
to the bank, they can run it through their machine at the office, right?
Yes, and definitely those that have maybe a higher volume of checks. So we even have larger scanners, so they can drop 50 checks in at a time, and it'll just feed those
Yeah.
in.
Wire services, is that separate part of treasury management? I know there's more. I feel like there is.
Wire services can be added.
Okay.
So it's kind of a la carte.
Right.
You can add in as many services as you want to it. So if
Okay.
you would use wires, we would add that feature for you.
Mm-hmm.
But then you can send that. You can even set that up for dual control.
Yeah.
Because we know a lot of businesses, that's another security feature is that they want two people to sign off before those
Yeah.
funds leave. So that is an option for it to be set up with dual control as well.
I feel like there's really large banks that offer treasury management, but the customer never really has that direct relationship with that treasury management contact. And I feel like we go back to that sweet spot, Ben, that you always say of Banterra, like treasury management is really part of the lending and branch team, and customers know that department representatives directly, right? It's an extension of their team that you can reach out to a person.
When they get set up with treasury management, they get a personalized walkthrough of the services. Sometimes it's over the phone, sometimes it's in person, just kind of dependent on that person's tech level. We kind of go from there. And, then normally they kind of consider that their contact, but they are given a group. And it's a small group. There's 7 people in that
Small but
department.
mighty.
Small but mighty. And they know if they reach out, they have a direct email to that group. They have a direct phone number, so they can call and ask any questions, and we'll help them with a wire, an ACH, if they're locked out, any of those things.
I know a printer that we use a lot in St. Louis was a customer for 11 years before ever entering a branch because they could do it directly with you guys.
Yes.
Well, it's nice to have all the features of those treasury management services. It's nice that it's not just one size fits all and we can customize it to whatever the needs of the business, but none of that matters without the backing of the team in place. And so the customer can do all they want to electronically, but inevitably something's going to come up and there's a team of people they can call directly and get a hold of to walk them through and work through whatever issues they have, right?
Yes. Yes.
So ATMs, it's not the latest technology, but we do have the latest ATMs at Banterra now.
Yes.
And
all new ATMs at Banterra in 2025.
which is a considerable investment on our part. And I know some of them you can make deposits at directly too.
Yes.
Smart
Yes.
deposits. So for that younger generation that hardly ever goes to the ATM though, but they're definitely needed. I visit them.
I want to talk about another new feature that we offer is online account opening. So customers now have the ability to open an account online. They can apply for the account online. Can you talk a little bit about that process? And we're very excited about it.
Yes. So we just launched at the beginning of September a new online account opening platform. And I do think that it is streamlining the process. We're getting some good feedback on that. But customers, they just have to have their basic address, personal information. They will need their driver's license. We need that number. And potentially a picture of that if they're a new customer. And they may have to provide address verification. But again, they can take a picture with their phone. Mm-hmm. So it's made very easy where they can open that account online. They can open it on their phone and in just a few minutes.
Super convenient. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
The great thing about that too is it's personal banking now. Soon, next year, hopefully business consumers. But the first thing you come to is an intro page that spells out exactly what you're going to need so you can prep and those kind of things.
Yes.
But something I didn't think about, which is silly not to think about it, but you can start that process. And if you don't finish, you can save it, right?
Yes, you
and
can
then
save it and come back later. And we had a customer, because we're tracking this very closely right now since it's a new program. And we had a customer who started the application and waited 2 weeks, came back, and then finished.
Yeah.
So I think he needed to take a copy of something, and maybe he forgot or got distracted, but he did come back and he finished the account. But, he had to provide that extra
And it really
documentation.
doesn't take long at all. So you can certainly finish it. However, like if you know that maybe you wanted to go in the bank or whatever, but you want to do as much prep as possible, you can go in on your lunch hour and finish it with a direct person if you want. You've already started it. I mean, but it's super easy to go from start to finish. And
Yes. With the new launch of our new program, we're going in phases. So next will be business, online business. And then after that, we are going to roll it to the branches. So it'll have an omni-channel experience. So if they started at home, but, maybe they have a question, they'll be able to go into the branch, finish the application, from midpoint. And then maybe they go into the branch, but they forgot documentation.
Yeah.
So then they'll be able to go home and just take a picture of that, and it'll upload directly to the system. So I think that'll be really good for our customers, a better experience, so if they have any questions, we're always happy to help answer those, but I think it'll provide
plus,
a
there's
good
a customer
experience.
care department too that you reach out and you chat back and forth. They can chat.
Yes.
Well, and I think about some of the businesses we've talked to, and a common theme they mention is meeting the customer where they are. And it sounds like that's a good example of meeting the customer where they are, whether they want to do something at home or they want to come into the branch or they need to do a little bit of both. We have the backing of our teams in place, but then we offer the conveniences of meeting them where they are. If they need to wait until the evening when the branch is closed to open an account, they can now do that. So that's really exciting for me, is another way for us to meet the customers where they are.
It's a good point too to make that a lot of this, whether it's your mobile app or online banking or online account opening, it can be intimidating to some people that know that they should understand it, but they don't. And so they just avoid it. And I would just want to encourage anyone, whether it's a Banterra or your other bank or whatever, just go into our branches. Our branch teams are fantastic.
Oh, yes.
And they will take the time to explain it to you. And
They will make it as easy as possible, for sure.
I'm just curious, you've been with Banterra for 25 years now. How has online banking, just generally speaking, how has that changed in your time, and how has that evolved? Now we have online account opening.
Well, did we have online banking when you started? I don't even know.
We did. It was
A lot different.
You had to crank the computer? Or...
It was brand new, probably on dial-up. But, we did have online banking. But, it was on the website only. There was no app. There was no... the features weren't available. You could...
When was the iPhone created? I don't know.
Was it 07 maybe?
Yeah. So you wouldn't even have the... Yeah.
You could
couldn't get on your flip phone?
No, you could view the account activity and pay your bills. I think there was bill pay then. But, so many more features now that you can do and have the app on your phone.
Yeah. And I know our customer base, percentage-wise, has grown tremendously over the years to use digital. I mean, that's where it's... Not where it's going, that's where it is. Now, where it's going is a whole other...
Yeah, well, we have to keep up with that. And I'm sure that eventually, maybe down the road, there's an AI component to that. But we use a little bit of that now, right, in some ways?
We do use a little bit of AI now. With our chat feature, we kind of have it pre-programmed where it can recognize certain questions. So frequently asked questions, it has a response that we do allow it to respond, but on a limited basis for us right now. We are seeing it used more in our help tools. So, when you want to search a help doc, we're seeing that become more popular. And I know we're working on some things now where we'll be able to ask the question and it can search the help docs and provide the answer.
Okay. So a great tool, not necessarily we want to rely on fully in place of actual people again, but a nice supplement to increase some efficiencies, probably.
Yes, for sure.
Good.
I look at small businesses like restaurants or whatever that are just, they've got so much to do. They've got so much to do. From a treasury management standpoint, are there like some case studies or examples of where that service impacted them so much or why it would help?
Well, I know that we have done, and, we've kind of taken into consideration if somebody's mailing payments, by when you purchase your stamp, your envelope, your
labor,
check stock, all of those things, if we look at that and the time that they're spending, they can save those, in an ACH for a payment. They're not having to enter them each time. The amount may change, but really cuts down on their time, and it's going to cut down on how much they're spending, buying all those stamps, envelope, check stock as well. We've looked at that.
Yeah. So anybody that's interested, the treasury management team would meet with them and give them a customized proposal to consider and those kind of things. So.
Is there anything we've missed relating to digital banking or treasury management that you want to make sure to talk about?
Or technology.
Technology in general, or the way where banking is headed.
Yeah. Do we want to go there?
Do we want to go there? We have a lot of options at Banterra, but I will say that we're always looking for what's coming or what the new trends are, those type of things that, we really try to stay on our game, I guess, with technology, with digital banking, all of these features. So if new things are coming out, we try to vet them. Will they be a good fit for Banterra? Will they benefit our customers? Those type of things.
Yeah, we invest a lot even in team members dedicated to that area and software, teams for that and all that. So it's good.
Yeah.
Always trying to stay ahead of the curve for sure. Well, Meghan, this has been really fun. Love getting into the weeds on digital banking and treasury management and all those things. We want to get to know you a little bit more. So we always finish our podcast by asking a question, and we always ask, "What are you into?" And that could be anything. That could be a book series. It could be a movie, a podcast, a TV show, music you're into, activity you're into. You can take it any direction you want to go. So, Meghan, what are you into right now?
What am I into right now? Well, I will say that I have 3 kids, and they are involved in all the activities. So that is keeping me very busy.
It takes up most of your time.
That takes up most of my time. So I feel like...
What's the age range again?
7, 10, and 13. So
wow.
Yes, we are very busy.
In the thick of it.
We're in the thick of it.
Mother, teenagers, and doing
sports.
Kind of thing.
Yes, we have 3 games this week. So that
are you one of those people that travel like 500 miles for games and stuff?
Maybe not 500 miles, but maybe a couple hours.
Yeah.
Well, here's the good news. While you're on the road for all these sports activities, you can keep track of your bank accounts, and you can do P2P payments. You can turn your debit card on and off, get your
I
card
thought you were
alerts.
going to say you can listen to your podcast.
Or you can listen to Helping You Thrive or other podcasts that you enjoy too. So that's great. So awesome. Thank you.
Did we forget anything?
Yeah, did we forget? Are we missing anything at all?
The only other thing I wanted to say, I wanted to kind of give a shout out to my teams.
Yes.
That's awesome. Yeah.
They are so great. And like we talked about customer service, all of my teams, if anybody has any issues when they call in, we really strive to provide the best customer experience. So we want any customer to feel like they're heard, they're helped.
You have a digital banking team, and
digital
customer
banking
care.
team, customer care, virtual banking. They handle the chat.
Yeah.
Our treasury management, we talked about that. So I just kind of want to give a shout out to them because they do
Fantastic.
a lot that goes into all of this.
Yeah, and I couldn't do what they do. I couldn't. I mean, they're helping people over the phone and step by step. And,
Yes. And researching things on the back end. So
it's a lot.
Well, I will co-sign that. There are many times where I have customers that need assistance, and I can't necessarily provide that technical service that they need on that end. So I can pick up the phone or have them pick up the phone and call someone from your team. And it's always been a great experience from what I hear from my customers. So thank you. And I'll co-sign that shout out to your folks.
all right, appreciate that.
Yep.
That was a lot of fun, and I actually learned. I've worked there for a while. I've learned a lot about digital banking and Meghan. So thanks for joining us.
Yeah, that was really fun, really informative. Appreciate your time, Meghan, and thanks for joining us today.
All right, well, thanks for having me. I enjoyed it.
Listeners, don't forget to subscribe to Helping You Thrive on your favorite podcast platform or watch the video on Banterra's YouTube channel. You can support the podcast by sharing on social media or posting a review. Follow Banterra Bank's social media for all the latest news and promotions of Banterra and our communities. Our podcast today was recorded at Ethos at the Citadel in Marion, Illinois, and produced by Union Street Arts and Banterra's marketing department. You can find more information on Banterra at our website, banterra.bank. Thanks for joining us today. Banterra Bank, member FDIC.